War of the Worlds was a new three-part series on the BBC that has just finished this weekend. I thought I'd talk about it because I like the story from War of the Worlds. A lot of people are familiar with it. There's a Steven Spielberg version of it. There's a famous, I can't think when it was made, older version of it, and it's a book that a lot of people sometimes get made to read at school as part of their education. It's the original story by H.G. Wells. This adaptation took part over 3 episodes, each an hour long, on BBC One. It's all available on iPlayer at the moment. It's got a good cast. You've got Robert Carlyle, Rafe Spall, amongst others that you'll recognise off various British TV shows. And it's got a really high quality production value. Everything looks great. There's no flaws with any of that. The special effects are totally fine for something of its budget, and it's likely to only really be shown once or twice. It looks like a high quality production. The only problem is that it's not written particularly well. It's written in a really overindulgent manner where certain things in the story are included that don't really add to anything or come to anything. You've got this initial story that you spend the first half of the first episode dealing with. Is Rafe Spall's character is someone who is getting divorced from his wife, and in the meantime is living with his new sort of partner, and that's sort of a disgrace, and he's causing problems at work. None of this has any bearing on the story whatsoever, as far as I could tell. And then you have his wife, who works as a bit of an assistant to Robert Carlyle's character Ogilvy, who's an astronomer who identifies things coming from Mars. You have something land. The royal astronomer comes to look at it along with the army. He starts killing people. Then all of a sudden, they take over the Earth, and they come out of the ground, great looking tripods, and they attack it from. The trouble is, what you've got from episode 2 onwards is you've got a vision of the future where Rafe Spall's partner is walking around in this apocalyptic world with a child who you understand to be the child that she was pregnant with at the start, and you think she's looking for Rafe Spall. Turns out that she's not. He dies in the initial invasion, but you are given a real cheap sort of fake death in the first episode when a building falls on him, and it's made to look as though he's been vaporised or dead, and then he suddenly just gets up. And then you also get this sort of fake out that in the future you think she's waiting for him to turn up, and Robert Carlyle turns up instead. But then later on you find out that he actually sacrificed himself and he died for her, and she's well aware of that. So you think, well, why would she act in a certain way when she was waiting for people to turn up? It's things like that that sort of ruin it. I would much prefer a straight story of the invasion, people dealing with it under pressure, and then the ultimate sort of end point, which is where the Martians all die because of germs. In this, they have the Martians die, but the planet is left in a apocalyptic state because of what the Martians have done, and they're still trying to fully understand why they all died. And it just feels a little bit laboured. I'd rather they just said the Martians are dead because of the germs. There's nothing humans could do about it. For all of our ego and power, it wasn't us that stopped them, it was the germs. That's the whole point of the story, is that we think we're so big and powerful, but in reality there's something bigger and more powerful than us, the Martians. But also the world is populated by tiny little organisms that can just take you out just like that without even firing a shot. None of that really came across in the story, and there are scenes when they explicitly say that as well. Rafe Spall has a rant about how the Martians are just the same as us attacking people, but it kind of falls on deaf ears because so much other crap has gone before it, and it's a real shame because, I like the cast, I like the production, just the script. It felt like it was really probably enough for 2 hour-long episodes. They've been stretched into 3, because if they'd have cut out all of this indulgent stuff, it would have been a nice, tight story that you could have shown over 2 weekends, and it would have been much more enjoyable. But look, if you are a big fan of War of the Worlds and you want to watch something that's based on it to see how it came across, by all means watch it on iPlayer, but I seriously wouldn't put too much of your time aside to go and see it.